All right. Good evening, everyone. See, a lot of people were already there in the chat. Sorry for the delay for a couple minutes, but we're here. Go ahead and drop a comment there and let us know that you're here too. And we'll just wait a couple minutes to get live on all the different platforms here. Appreciate everybody tuning in for their midweek sales training. This is always my favorite training, talking about actually getting out there and getting some deals, making some things happen. All right. Hello, everybody there in the chat. Good evening. Good evening. Just going to wait one more minute here to go live on all the different platforms. And then we'll get started. All right, some more people checking in there. Hello, hello, good evening. All right, looks like we are good to go. So let's go ahead and get it started. Welcome, everyone. My name is Kyle Hershey. I'm the COO of The Mortgage Calculator, joined by our president, Nick Hershey, and our sales manager, Jose Gonzalez. Today, we are going to do our loan officer sales training. As I said, one of my favorite trainings. And we're going to really talk about actually doing the sales part of the job here. So Jose is going to get into a presentation here shortly and pull up some things. But just in general here, as far as the mortgage business and doing calls, remember, just like any other business, this is about speed to lead, but it's also about building trust. And Jose is going to go through that as well, because remember, we're not selling just some kind of item, right? We're selling the largest transaction of somebody's life. So very important that when you're on that initial call, to be able to build that trust, to be able to bring out that data that you need to become a consultant to that person. So that's some of the things that Jose is going to go through. Here at the Mortgage Calculator, we're a correspondent lender that specializes in non-QM loans and specializes in leads. So our loan officers are calling tons of leads with tons of different kinds of loan programs. So it's very important in that initial call to do a correct interview and to make sure that you can figure out where your borrower wants to go and where you may be able to put your borrower among the thousands of loan products that we have available. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jose, who has a presentation pulled up, and let's go through tonight's sales training, which is mastering the initial call. So go ahead there, Jose.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our Wednesday sales training with the Mortgage Calculator. Today, we have a very important topic, mastering the initial sales call, right? I mean, there's a lot that goes into getting to this point, right? And so we don't want to blow the opportunity. I mean, the leads, the technology, all the things that we do just to get that one opportunity to speak with the customer and basically show them what we've got, right? Real important. You only get one shot to make that first impression. So let's get right into it right here. Now, what we're going to be discussing here is not necessarily going into actual loan guidelines and stuff, but we're just talking about, your approach to the call, because at the Mortgage Calculator, we're all about being loan consultants and adding value to the transaction. We don't want to be parasites. We want to be seen as a valuable member of the team, whether it be the realtor who's referring us the buyer, the borrower, right? Because in that case, where they're financing team, or whether it's the actual borrower that reaches out to us. So we're part of their team too, their home financing team, right? I mean, everybody seeks out someone in the transaction that will assist the process and not hold it back, right? So, with that being said, we'll jump right into it here, right? It's really important, as I was mentioning. We're talking about, you only get one chance to make that first impression, right? You have to build that rapport. You don't want to this should not seem like a sales call, right? This should seem like a you're reaching out to assist, right? Valuable member of the team. So you see some really important bullet points there that you should adhere to when you are first starting the call. You don't want to jump right into talking about rates, and we have the lowest rates and we have the lowest prices and all of that. They don't even know who you are. They don't even know if they should trust you with any information that they're going to relay to you. So again, try to build that rapport. Try to lead by example in your conversation, right? Not being overly, sales pushy, right? Um, it's really important that you set the tone so that the customer will be the one reaching out to you, like on their edge of their seat. Like, what are my next steps? Right? We're the professional, and we need to instill that confidence in our expertise. That's what it's all about. If they don't trust us, like Kyle was just mentioning, if they don't trust us with what is undoubtedly the largest financial transaction for most people's lives, then the conversation will be a very short one. There's hundreds of thousands of loan officers in the United States, and they all feel like they have the lowest rates. So, uh, real important here also, again, we're talking about finding what is actually how we can assist the borrower, right? Again, it you may be thinking it's all about rates, right? But it may be actually about something else, some other point that they're trying to achieve in their life. You have to dig deep. You have to ask why multiple times, right? They could be telling you something, and then ask them, why? Why is that a concern of yours? And they'll speak a little bit more, and then you'll ask them, why again? Each time asking them to expand on the why. I mean, we have to get beyond that initial barrier that the customer will have initially. They don't trust you, they don't know you, they're not going to open themselves up to you. uh, we're in the mortgage business, right? That is our product, and the product that we have to figure out which of the thousands of products that we offer is the correct product to solve their problem, because essentially what they have is a problem. I mean, it sounds a little bit negative in stating that it's a problem, but that's a good way to envision it, because that problem could materialize in many different ways depending how you ask, what is the issue, right? I mean, the problem could be that their payment is too high. The problem could be that they have to pay off debts. The problem could be that they want to retire in 5 years. The problem could be that they want to buy a house in, Mexico on the beach, right? So you don't know what it is, so you cannot assume what the problem is. You really have to probe deep, try to connect with the borrower to find out, what is really motivating them to seek out this assistance, because normally this is not going to be a cold call per se. When we're getting in our sales calls, we're reaching out to a lead that has clicked on our ad, right? You're reaching back out to them, and you need to be aware there is something there that prompted them to click on the ad, and it may not necessarily be what the ad states, right? It could just be financially related. But if it was, for example, a DSCR ad, right? They clicked on the DSCR ad, and you're just calling them, and the 5 seconds into the conversation, you're talking about DSCR loans. They may not even know what a DSCR loan is. They may have like something about the ad that they clicked on. So again, do not make any assumptions, because you know what happens when you assume.
Uh, on that one, well, and this one too. I just wanted to add that I often try to build rapport. A lot of times people won't tell you their personal info because they think that you're it's going to decrease their chances of obtaining the loan. So often I have to tell the customers that, I'm not the IRS. I don't care what you filed. I just need to know what you've filed, right? I'm not the police. I'm not going to say that you've done too many write-offs or anything like that. So oftentimes you need to get those customers to let their guard down because they don't want to give some information. So it's very important that you build that rapport first, because to get to the core of the problem, you really need to see documents a lot of times. I think that's what this slide is too. But I always just want to tell everybody, just hey man, I just need to know what's going on, or else I can't help, right? So I'm not gonna report you for if you did some weird tax thing, right? We're not the police, we're not the IRS. We just need to know what we have so we can find the solution. So it's really really important to get to what we actually have, not what they're trying to like protect. I guess is what you were saying earlier, right, Jose? They're
Yep.
trying to protect some of those details that may be negative details, right? But for us, it's not a negative. It's we just need to know so we can have the solution.
Yep. We are basically peeling the onion, getting through the multiple layers to get to the core and see what is actually the issue. A lot of times they may not totally know themselves until you probe them. And then as they answer, they come to realization of what the issue really is. But it's really important that you have to try to understand what their situation is. Again, I mentioned don't make any assumptions, right? You need to really understand what their issues are if you expect to provide a relevant solution that is going to mean something to them. I mean, they can't be talking to you about their need, let's say, to want to retire in 5 years, and all you're trying to do is tell them about how great your 30-year rates are, and maybe what they're looking to do is simplify their life and be debt free in 5, 10, or 15 years. So don't, you have to sit back and listen, try to get as much context of the situation as possible. Has this been an ongoing situation? Is this a recent occurrence? Is it something chronic? I mean, is it temporary? Is something that happened maybe in the household, injury, death, whatever it can be? But we have to really try to put as much context to properly understanding. I think this is one of the biggest problems with most loan officers, realtors, salespeople in general, uh, is that they don't, they're in such a hurry to try to close the deal that they totally run by all of these parts, and then they wonder why the people just want to hang up on them really quick, because nobody likes to get sold. Everybody likes to be consulted, right? I mean, if I feel that they're selling me, I just walk right out of the showroom. So now, again, the light bulb there is because as we're listening to the people talk about their issues, light bulbs should be going off in our head, right? We should be starting to get insight as to what is the solution that we're really going to offer. What is causing their pain? I mean, again, as much insight and context as possible is, and this, I can't stress it any more than I'm saying now. That's what we got, 2 slides on was in the topic because it is so important to listen to what they're saying and then ask relevant questions, because here again we're peeling the onion to get to their soul, to their psyche, to their heart, where they themselves will then realize, hey, well, yes, this person really cares. Oh, okay. My slide just popped up. Okay. Now you want to gather as much data as you can about the issue that they're having. At this point is really when you're going to expand on your questioning, where you're going to be able to then, if they're talking to you about a certain type of loan or a certain type of situation, then now you can hone in. Okay, they did tell you okay, that they wanted to retire, so soon. So again, as I stated earlier, you're not going to be talking about 30 or 40-year amortization plans unless they told you they wanted the most cash flow they can for a couple of years and then to sell the asset. But if what they're telling you is the opposite, listen to their concerns, and so that you can provide more relevant solutions as you uh, have this exchange with the customer. Their guard will come down. They're going to perceive you as being truly interested in providing a solution to them. At this point, like I said, barriers are coming down. They're seeing you more as a friend than as a foe, as somebody, not as somebody who's just trying to sell them. And again, as a consultant that is adding value to the transaction. That's the best way to stay relevant. So then you have to be at this point, once you listen, let them, and you empathize with them, then, you're going to have to ask some, direct questions. Don't be, this is like almost not being afraid to ask for the sale. Okay. They've told you all of their concerns, right? You've listened, you've honed in on it, you've got them to really focus on what the concern is. Now we've clearly identified. So now you're trying to get the answer out of them. And as they answer this question, is as they're going to be basically agreeing to work with you, because now you have realized what their concerns are. You're sensitive, you're empathetic to their concern. You're not trying to sell them the 40-year loan when what they want to do is be out of there in 10 years, right? So they already know that, okay, maybe this person does really care and is really going to be able to help me. So then you want to ask them, what's holding you back from achieving your goal? Why if they want to refinance that loan or purchase the home or whatever they want to do, what has been keeping them from doing that? And there's usually several common reasons that I have identified there in the bullet points. And we want to be the solution to that, because you see I mean, like, inability to do it on their own, right? I mean, they don't want to they want that concierge service. They wanted it to happen yesterday, and they want somebody that can close the deal right now. The 200,000 MLOs out there all feel that their rates are the lowest, that they're the fastest, and all that kind of stuff. But it's you that is speaking with the borrower that can fully convey your concerns, your empathy, your professionalism, your knowledge, truly wanting to assist. Those are all things that come across, real important. It's like when I'm having the call with anybody regarding loans, the last thing that I'm really doing is talking about the rate. I just want to have them feel like I'm their friend, like I really care. And that's what it's all about. I mean, you may not get a second chance to make that first impression, like I said in the first slide, and it follows the whole conversation. And at any minute, if you slip, that's it. It's all over. So it's real important on that. So at this point now, you're building their trust, right? They're starting to see you again as a friend, not as a foe. You've asked them what's holding them back from making the decision, what's holding them back from doing it. They've been looking at their rates for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, looking at all the online stuff going on. So what's holding them back, right? So at this moment, again, you want to gain that commitment from them, right? Um, when you ask them what was holding them back, they're giving you the answers, what's holding them back, and you're going to be absorbing that, obviously listen. When you ask them what's holding them back, don't talk right away. Listen, give them a chance to answer. And when they do answer, listen to it and let it sink in. Let them think and feel that you are really listening, because most people are not listening. They don't even want to let that other person finish talking before they're trying to just, shove that deal down their throat. And that's not gonna hurt. That's not gonna help. So again, at this moment, you're going to restate the problem, right? You want to show your empathy, you want to show how you've been listening, and then you want to start coming up with potential solutions, right? But you want to see how you want to vet them as a borrower as well, because not only do they want to vet you to see how serious you are, but you also want to vet them to see how serious they are and how realistic their expectations are. I think that's probably going to be, at this moment, that's going to come into play, because if they're not totally realistic with their expectations, no matter if you are the greatest loan officer in the world, I don't think you should be committing yourself to uh, doing something that is not doable. Right at that moment is when you should continue the consulting and ensure that the customer has realistic expectations. But again, it is essential that when they are communicating these concerns to you, their potential commitment, again, listen, don't interrupt them, respect their opinions, and it's going to go a long way in the deal. Because now you're listening again, and now this is like reaffirming, right? You're trying to get to their soul here. You're trying to get them to feel that you really care, and you should really care. I mean, I treat every deal like it's a family member. I care for every deal, and even when you're talking to people, they pick up on that. Much less when obviously when you're in person, but they can feel it. It's going to come over the phone if you really care, or if you're just trying to sell them the only thing that you have available to sell. So you're basically acknowledging now that yes, you do understand that exists. You're reaffirming how that is an issue, and then you're asking them if you could assist with your expertise. This is a perfect moment to showcase our skills, to showcase whatever our expertise is. My 27 years experience comes into play usually at this moment. The many deals that I've closed could come into play at this moment, but I will be trying to do this in a respectful manner, always acknowledging the issue and making sure that I respect them. So we've acknowledged our issue. So now here again, now is the moment that we get to pound our chest and provide our solutions. This is when we should be honing in on what our specializations are. If this is a foreign national loan, we should be talking about how we specialize in the foreign national loans and give some insight and some data that will affirm what we know about foreign national loans and loans in general. Just whatever it is that we're bringing up, please try to stay relevant to what, to the solution. If they're talking again VA loans, don't start talking about 5 to 8 units, right? Stuff like that. Just try to listen well and tie it all in together, because the better that we tie those loose ends, that we connect those dots, there's going to be a lot less resistance from the borrower. They should be at this point almost asking us, okay, what's the next step, after we so clearly tell them that we understand everything that's going on. I mean, they should just be like tripping over themselves to come up to us and say, okay, I'm ready. Where do I sign? So here is where we're going to be bringing in some real insight now, so we can emphasize how we specialize in that particular situation. Make sure that we're communicating effectively, uh, all of the points that we're doing. Again, try to be concise. Don't be rattling on for 20 minutes with how great we are, because you could just be boring the heck out of them, and then they're just going to be looking for an excuse to hang up, because they don't want to hear about how great you are. They want to hear about how great your expertise is going to assist them with their exact problem, and how your expertise is going to solve that. Don't just be rattling on about irrelevant situations. And do not be afraid to accept the deal, right? I mean, most people take it to that point and never ask for the sale, right? I mean, if the borrower didn't tell you, okay, I'm ready to go, most people will just stay there and like, okay, well, then I guess I'll talk to you later, right? I mean, you said how great you are, and then you don't accept the deal, right? So, I mean, at no time during this process would we have talked about any rates until possibly when we were talking about the solutions, and then when we are accepting the deal. And throughout this whole process, what we're trying to do is establishing ourselves as a relevant professional, as an expert, as somebody that can solve their problems, somebody that is sensitive to their cause. So again, this is not about selling. This is about breaking down those barriers so that they can accept working with you. All right, that's our last slide.
Great. I wanted to chime in real quick too, just on the part of this that has to do with the problem, right? And finding their problem, solving their problem. A lot of the times, it's if they were denied somewhere else, that kind of cuts through it a lot. If you ask them why, a lot of the times that'll bring out exactly what the issue is, right? Because then we can say, oh yeah, no problem. You got denied at Bank of America because you're self-employed and whatever it is. Now, okay, that's easy. We have thousands of programs that can do that. So that's definitely always an easy way to pull some of the stuff out. If they were denied somewhere, do you know why they denied you? And they'll come out and say it, and you'll know exactly what's going on. You'll say, okay, we're just working with somebody who had a foreclosure. That's it. That's what it was. And now we just got to find a program that allows foreclosures, and we got plenty of them. So let's work the problem, right? Nick, were you going to say something? I know you were going to chime in.
We had a good comment here. Denise was saying that she's a tax consultant as well, and it's important to say that you work for the client, not the IRS, right? So in our industry, I did want to say that when I was kind of commenting in there as well. I want to make sure the client knows that we're working for them. I don't work for the police. I don't work for the IRS. And I don't work for the bank or the underwriter, right? I'm here to find the right program to solve the solution, like Jose was saying, to solve the problem, right? So they need to tell us the problem. So that's what Jose is getting at there. Notice here also, guys, there is no checklist. Jose's entire presentation didn't have a checklist of questions you ask or bullet points to hit or scripts. This is all about you. This has nothing to do with scripts or checking boxes or talking to people. It's about you and listening to your customer. The other thing I wanted to highlight here was even though Jose said this is the initial call, this is often multiple calls and multiple text messages, right? Most people do text messages today. So this process plays out over multiple days, many times, right? And many times you call once and you don't get to talk for 10 minutes. You get to talk for one. You need to call again to get down to the problem. How long does it take you to get to the problem, Jose? I guess that's be a good question for you.
What was the question? How long did it wait?
How long on average does it take you to get to the actual problem, the actual crux?
Oof. You talking time wise, or how many times do I have to contact
Just
the person?
either or, right? I want people to just know how often this happens over time, because this isn't 10 minutes, right? This is a relationship. So this, 10 slides makes it seem easy, but this is a relationship. So how long does it really take to actually get the problem, present the solution, and accept that you're going to be the person that's going to provide that solution?
We would be lucky if it happened the first contact that we made, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it happened, if on that first call somebody said after 5 minutes, man, yeah, that's just what I'm waiting for. Let's go. Amazing, but most of the time it's going to be a second or third or fourth time. And in some cases it could be, as we know, in the sales cycle could be a little bit longer. But if we're going to take the example, okay, somebody that's ready, willing, and able now, right? They don't have to wait a year because they got to find a house. So if it's somebody that's locked and loaded and we just got to press the right buttons, it's still going to take time because you have to break those barriers. You don't know what part of the cycle they're in. Like Kyle mentioned, yeah, if they just got denied by somebody and they know exactly what the issue is, that may be a little easier than somebody who's just starting the process, which is why then we have to ask pertinent, relevant questions, and we have to be able to listen. I mean, so I can't really answer exactly how long it's going to take.
How long you think of talking to someone, I guess, because whether that's 1 or 5 or 10 calls, how much conversation does it usually take, I guess, to
Time
get this
wise,
done?
man, at least, okay, we're going to say time wise, at least 30 minutes, 30, 45 minutes at
Yeah.
least. So that would
And that could
probably
be 1 to 3 calls, maybe on average, probably.
Yeah.
So if someone has 30 minutes right at the first call, maybe you do go through this whole process, but it's not often that us or our customers are available for 30 minutes at the same time at the same place, right? When they fill out the form online or whatever they're doing. So, make sure that you guys understand that this is a process that is iterative over a couple of days, a couple weeks, maybe, and then sometimes a couple years, right? How long is how long is the longest time that you've had to percolate a deal and solve a problem? I know we did a loan together that we applied like 3 times because there was like a divorce, foreclosure, a whole bunch of stuff, right? So
Heck, well, I'm going to relay this one to a real estate deal, right? Because it's sort of the same concept. 6.5 years
to solve a problem, right?
to incubate it and solve it. Yeah. So, I mean, it was a nice solution at the end, but getting there was like that slide that I showed that was the maze with the customer in the middle there. A lot of curves, a lot of turns, some dead ends that you got to back out of, and then go left instead of right.
Yep. All right, and then just one other random topic before we get cut off here. I wanted to say was Kyle mentioned it, but the excitement, right, comes off, guys. If you really care, like Jose says, obviously that's what matters, right? If you like people, that's really good. Obviously, that you're going to be successful wherever you are if you like people, right? But what I like to do personally, and maybe this is just me, but I love this, right? We just sold a property. We just got an offer today for 1.8 million on our other property. Like I am in this all day. I smile every time someone talks about an offer, I smile every time someone talks about a deal that they're putting together. You have to love this stuff, guys, right? And it should come across. Like I am smiling ear to ear every time I pick up the phone with my customer, Derek. He's a pain in the ass, right? Just it's everything is amazing. It's a mission, but it is fun, right? This is fun. We're both having fun finding solutions to crazy problems. I've done some crazy deals with this guy, but it's I have made money, I've lost money, we've canceled deals. I just canceled a deal about 5 minutes ago, right? Where we would all made money, right? But it's fun, right? We spent hours on this deal. It didn't come to fruition, but we're in this together. It's us versus them, right? Us versus the bank or the underwriter, us versus the seller in this case, because we're arguing with the seller, trying to get a reduction in price because the appraisal didn't come in at where we wanted it, right? So you guys got to love this stuff, right? And you're excited. So I always love scheming with my customers. I have many rental properties. I suggest y'all get it as well, right? If you guys don't have rental properties and you're trying to portray yourself to these investors, definitely recommend you guys walk in their shoes, right? You'll be a lot more versed in what they are talking about, and obviously know their problems and have their solutions. So you really got to get in this. So I applaud everybody who's really in this and has rental properties. They can obviously speak from expertise and just be excited about it. Even if your rental property is not the biggest moneymaker in the world, when someone else makes money and has that same vision and dream as you, it should get you really excited and jacked up. And if you let yourself get excited for people, you already have the sale, right? They're going to not work with anybody else. If you're as more excited than them about their own deal, obviously you already got it, right? So you don't even have to really sell, really, if you actually are genuinely in this industry and genuinely excited. Like I can't take the smile off my face every time I pick up the phone and this guy's got the craziest idea ever that we're going to try to make happen. And it's fun, right? You guys got to have fun and positivity in this. And you can't fake it, right? You can't fake it. I can't put a fake smile on my face. There's no way, right? We're not in the fake it business, right? So the days of being the old mortgage guy and like pushing paper, the grumpy old mortgage guy. What's that meme, Jose, with the guy with the big pants or whatever?
That's a funny one.
The old slacks with the big pants, right, guys? We're not that, right? We got to be interesting for the customers and interested in the customers, right? And what they're doing. And for us, most of the times that means investors, even our regular customers in this day and age, it's their biggest, not only their biggest monetary decision, but it's their biggest investment. Most people expect their home to be their biggest and sometimes their only investment. Remember, their only other large purchase is a car, right? Which is not an asset in any way, shape, or form, right? So this is probably their only time they're going to purchase or get involved in a large asset. So it's, it's a big deal. So.
Yeah, I like that. And I would say too that just being into it is also enough. If you own rental properties, that's great. I know a bunch of our people do on our team. A lot of them do. But just wanting to own one, to looking at them, right? Nick looks at millions of them, right? But to just be in the game, I guess I should say. So for example, when Nick's talking to clients about rental properties and stuff, oh yeah, I got an Airbnb that does this. Oh yeah, that was a mission to get this. And then that city, we had to get a permit and that held everything up. There's these things that you can build rapport and relate with. You don't necessarily have to own one to do that, right? If you're in the game, if you're trying to buy one or you're putting offers in or you have that experience, you're talking to other investors. Oh yeah, I had a client the other day that had this, right? That's more of just like living it. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to go buy 3 rental properties right now, right? To be in it and to live it and to have those examples. It's about the passion. It's about really immersing yourself in it. Join a bunch of these Facebook groups. I would recommend the Burr Facebook group is my favorite. That's for sure. All these different real estate investors and flips and Airbnb, all these different Facebook groups. When you join those and they're coming across your feed all day, every day, you'll feel like you're in it. You'll feel like you have investment properties. You'll be living through their ups and downs, their problems, right? I mean, it's great just to see people post problems and then a bunch of other investors post solutions to their problems, right? I mean, it's amazing. So I would say the number one thing when it comes to that, the topic Nick's just touching on, is go join some Facebook groups for real estate investors, short-term rentals, the Burr Group, BRRR, and just get in it and immerse yourself in it. If you want to buy a rental property, obviously now is the time. As far as like if you're here on the team, obviously you have the best outlet to go finance something. But just get in it, whether you purchase something or not. And if you're working with a lot of investors, like most of our loan officers are, it will come across. They will know that you know what they're talking about, and you will know what they're actually talking about, right? Oh man, I hate when that happens, right? I mean, Nick knows how many times when you talk to investors, are they going through the same thing that you went through with your property, and you're able to go, oh, I know how you feel. My last Airbnb, it took 6 months extra to get built, and we lost 50 grand while we were sitting there. You know what I mean? So
but you don't have to say we. You could say I heard that tenants are a pain. I heard evictions are a pain in Georgia. I heard this and that, right? Because you're in the groups and people are saying I just had to evict 4 tenants to sell this property, and it took this, and I had to get this because I'm in this state, in this county, and there's this problem. So yeah, that's a great point, Kyle. I love those real niche problems. Provide you with that insight that you need to really be in it, right? It doesn't have to be your problem, right? Just seeing people solve problems and provide solutions will get you in that mind state.
Absolutely. All right. Jose, anything else you want to add now that we hijacked your topic there?
No, man. Thanks for all the extra insight you guys always add. And I mean, I would say if you don't want to get shopped around and lose deals, this is the path to success. If you need to differentiate yourself from the masses, and the way to do it is by being a professional, by being a consultant, by having empathy to the needs of the customer, because they will pick up on that and they will choose you. There's a lot going on right now in the market. There's a lot of volatility. So, those that are going to get the business are those that are relevant to what's going on right now and can add value, so that people can look at you and say, if I pick you to work with me, I'm going to stand a better chance of achieving my objective in these trying times. That's really what it's going to build down to.
Boom, mic drop. All right, that's a good ending, I think.
All right, cool. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, we do this sales training. And then, of course, every weekday, 11 a.m. Eastern, we do our daily mortgage rates live show. So we appreciate you tuning in, and we hope to see everybody tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks everybody.